Today, we are on the hunt for a number, a very specific number. It's so small, but it's so incredibly powerful that it has literally reshaped how the modern world gets built. It represents a level of quality so high, it's almost hard to believe. Let's start with the number itself. 3.4. That's it. It doesn't look like much, does it? But you've got to believe me, for some of the biggest and most successful companies on the planet, this number is their North Star. It guides almost every single decision they make. So what on earth does 3.4 actually mean? It means 3.4 defects per million opportunities. Just let that sink in for a second. We're not talking per 100 or even per 1,000. We're talking per million. So imagine you're making a million of something. Widgets, phone calls, whatever, and only about 3 or 4 of them have a single tiny flaw. That's the goal. That's the standard. So that begs the obvious question, right? How can any process, whether it's building a crazy complex jet engine or something as simple as processing an insurance claim, how can it get that ridiculously close to perfect? Well, the answer lies in a really powerful methodology, a whole philosophy, really, that was designed specifically to achieve this near-perfect standard. We're talking, of course, about Six Sigma. It was born at Motorola way back in 1986. At its core, Six Sigma is a disciplined, data-driven approach for crushing defects. And it has one true enemy: variation. By systematically hunting down and attacking any inconsistency, it aims to make processes stable, predictable, and, you guessed it, incredibly high quality. Now, to really get why variation is such a big deal, we need to talk about something that exists in almost every business, just silently eating away at profits. It's got a great name: the hidden factory. The hidden factory. It's not a real place with smokestacks. It's a metaphor for all the time, all the money, and all the effort you spend fixing mistakes. It's the parts you have to throw in the scrap bin, the angry customer returns, the endless rework cycles. This is the direct, painful cost of process variation, and Six Sigma was designed to shut that factory down for good. So we know Six Sigma is shooting for that 3.4 DPMO target, but how in the world did they land on that specific number? This is where we get to uncover the statistical secret at the heart of this whole thing. It's pretty cool. Okay, take a look at this. This is the quality ladder. Down at the bottom, at 1 sigma, your process is a complete disaster. We're talking almost 700,000 defects per million opportunities. It's chaos. But just watch what happens as we start to climb. Each step up isn't just a little better, it is a massive leap in quality. By the time we hit the top, at 6 sigma, we've made this quantum leap all the way down to just 3.4. The improvement is absolutely exponential. But wait a minute. If you're a bit of a statistics nerd, you might be thinking, hey, a pure textbook Six Sigma process should actually have even fewer defects than 3.4. So where does this number actually come from? This is where the whole thing gets really, really clever. The key is understanding the difference between how a process performs in a perfect lab versus how it performs out in the real world. Short-term performance is the ideal, right? A controlled environment where everything is just so. Long-term performance, well, that's reality. That's where things naturally drift, tools wear down, and suppliers change over time. The engineers at Motorola actually studied this, and through tons of real-world data, they discovered that even the best processes tend to drift by about 1.5 sigma over the long run. So what did they do? They built that reality right into the calculation. It's brilliant. A process that is capable of 6 sigma perfection in the short term will naturally perform at 4.5 sigma in the long term, which, you guessed it, works out to exactly 3.4 defects per million. It's a built-in buffer for the real world. Okay, so we've got the target and we understand the kind of quirky math behind it, but how does a team actually go on this journey from a messy, chaotic process to a near-perfect one? Well, they follow a very specific 5-phase roadmap. It's called DMAIC. DMAIC. It stands for define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. You can think of it as the scientific method, but for business problems. It's this structured, repeatable framework that guides a team all the way from, hey, I think we have a problem, to we have a lasting, data-proven solution. And here's what DMAIC really does. It provides much-needed structure. It forces you to clearly define the customer's pain point. Then you have to measure your current performance with hard data.
Next, you analyze that data to find the true root causes, not just the symptoms. Then you improve the process based on actual evidence. And finally, and this is crucial, you control the new process to make sure those gains actually stick around. No more guesswork. It's all about the data.
All this statistical rigor and structured problem solving sounds great, but what does it actually deliver for a business? What's the real-world payoff? Let's talk about the bottom line, because that's what matters, right? How about this for an impact? In many companies, the cumulative savings from a well-run Six Sigma program can actually exceed 5% of their total revenue. And those savings come from everywhere. When you reduce defects, you just slash the costs of scrap, rework, and those painful warranty claims. You spend way less on inspection because quality is actually built into the process now. You free up capacity without having to buy new machines. It is a direct lever on profitability. But the benefits go way, way beyond the balance sheet. Consistent, reliable quality, that builds incredible customer loyalty. It creates a culture where your employees become statistically literate. They're speaking a shared language of data. And that evidence-based mindset, it just accelerates innovation and makes the whole organization smarter at solving problems. And this leads to a really critical insight. The organizations that get the most out of Six Sigma don't just see it as a project tool they pull out of a toolbox. No, they embrace it as a core business philosophy, a way of thinking about absolutely everything they do. And a huge part of that philosophy is being smart about where you apply it. Look, the goal is not to make every single process in the company a Six Sigma process. That would be a colossal waste of resources. You have to be strategic. And this is what that looks like in practice. For, say, an internal back office process, a 4 Sigma level of quality might be perfectly fine, good enough. For your main customer-facing products, though, yeah, you'll probably aim for that competitive 6 Sigma standard. But for something that is safety critical, like in aerospace or medical devices, you might need to target an even higher level, maybe even 8 Sigma. The whole goal is to prioritize. You align your best people and your biggest efforts on the processes that have the greatest impact on your revenue, your brand's reputation, and your ability to meet regulations. It's all about putting the muscle where it matters the most. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this question. Think about your own work, your own organization. Where is your hidden factory? What are the sources of rework and wasted effort that everyone just kind of accepts as the cost of doing business? And maybe more importantly, what would it take to just start measuring them? Because as Six Sigma proves time and time again, what gets measured gets improved.